Family didn't come to my birthday because I selfish and cheated on my wife. Its wife told them to disown me and sign the house over to her, but I ruined her plans. And then, my 30th birthday was supposed to be a milestone. I'd been planning the party for weeks, nothing extravagant, just a backyard barbecue with close friends and family. Linda, my wife, helped organize most of it, or so I thought. She made a big show of calling my parents, my sister, and a few cousins to make sure everyone knew the time and date. It felt good to know they'd be there, or at least it did until the day came. When the day came, the table in the backyard was set with food, drinks, and decorations that Linda had picked out. A few of my buddies showed up early, making the silence of my family even more noticeable. When it was an hour past the start time, I started checking my phone. Nothing. No calls, no texts. I tried calling them. My mom didn't answer, my dad didn't answer, and my sister sent a single text. "We can't make it. Sorry." That was it. No explanation. I could feel my stomach turning. My parents weren't the kind to miss something like this without a good reason. Even if they couldn't make it, they would have called, right? Linda said. "Maybe they're just busy. Don't stress about it." She handed me a beer, all smiles, acting like it wasn't a big deal. But something felt wrong. It didn't help that I could hear her on the phone earlier that day, whispering in another room. When I asked who she was talking to, she demurred and said it was her sister. The party went on, but I couldn't shake the unease. My friends tried to cheer me up, and my son, Danny, kept asking when Grandma and Grandpa were coming. I didn't know what to tell him. The truth was, I didn't know what was going on. After the guests left and Danny went to bed, I sat with Linda in the living room. "Why do you think my family didn't come?" I asked. She shrugged. "Maybe they didn't want to drive all that way." I nodded, but I wasn't convinced. My parents had never missed a birthday before, and I didn't think they'd skip my 30th without so much as a phone call. Something just didn't add up. I told myself I'd call them in the morning and get to the bottom of it. The next morning I called my mother again. No answer. I tried my dad. Same thing. Finally, I texted my sister and asked her if everything was okay. It took an hour, but she replied, "I don't think we should talk to you right now." That hit me like a punch in the gut. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I didn't know what to say at first, but I finally typed back. "What are you talking about? What's going on?" The answer came quickly this time. "You know exactly what is going on. Don't try to spin it." Spin what? I had no idea what she meant, but now I was panicking. I sent another text. "I really have no idea what you're talking about. Just call me." No reply. I stared at my phone for what felt like an eternity before deciding to drive the 400 miles to my parents' house the next weekend. I needed answers. The week passed. Linda seemed normal, or as normal as she could be. She didn't ask much about why I kept checking my phone or why I seemed so stressed. When I brought up my family, she just shrugged and said, "Maybe they're upset about something. People get weird sometimes." It didn't help. If anything, it made me more suspicious. She seemed too calm. On Friday night, I packed a bag and told Linda I had to go check on my parents. She barely reacted, just said, "Drive safe." That felt strange too, but I didn't have time to overanalyze it. I left early Saturday morning, determined to find out why my own family had basically disowned me. When I arrived at my parents' house, the atmosphere was icy. My mother answered the door and didn't even invite me in. She just stood there with her arms crossed, looking like she'd rather slam the door in my face. "Mom, what's going on?" I asked. "Why didn't you come to my birthday? Why won't you return my phone calls?" She looked at me like I was dirt under her shoe. "You cheated on Linda and now you're trying to play the victim? How dare you show your face here?" I felt like the rug had been pulled out from under me. Cheated? What are you talking about? I didn't cheat on Linda. Where is this coming from? She scoffed. "Oh, please." She told us everything. How you've been sneaking around and lying to her for months. And now you're trying to act innocent? You men are all the same. All of us? My father interrupted, giving her a sharp look. Speak for yourself. I ignored their bickering because I was too busy trying to process what I'd just heard. Mom, I work from home. I'm here 24/7. How could I even cheat on her? It doesn't make sense. She didn't budge. She's been telling us about it for a while. You've been distant, not giving her the attention she deserves. And now you're trying to gaslight us into thinking she's lying? Wait. I held up my hand. She's been telling you this for a while? How long? 4 months. My dad said, cutting in. And now she says she's thinking about leaving you, but she's trying to be strong for Danny. Honestly, we're on her side. I took a step back, my head spinning. On her side? She's lying to you. I've been working my ass off to support her and Danny, and you think I'm out here cheating? I'm not even going anywhere. My mom shook her head. We sent her money to help her leave you. She deserves this house, especially with a child in her arms. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You sent her money? For what? She's not leaving me. She should. My mother snapped. She's been through enough. You're being selfish. We always knew you were. I turned to my dad, hoping for some support, but he just looked away. It was then that I realized how deep this went. They had completely bought into the story Linda was feeding them. I left their house without another word, my blood boiling. I knew Linda was behind this, but I didn't know how deep her lies went. I decided then and there to find out. The drive home seemed longer than usual. My head was spinning as I tried to process everything my parents had said. Not only had Linda turned them against me, but she had been feeding them lies for months. The betrayal was too much, but just as I was about to leave their house, something unexpected happened. My sister caught up with me as I was getting into my car. Wait, she said quietly, looking over her shoulder to make sure no one was watching. What is it? I asked, exhausted. I don't think you cheated, she said. I never did. Mom and Dad might believe her, but something about her stories doesn't sit right with me. I stared at her, stunned. Then why didn't you say something back there? She sighed. It wouldn't matter. Mom's too stubborn, and Dad's always on her side. But I listened to Linda, and some things just don't add up. What do you mean? I asked, feeling a glimmer of hope for the first time all day. She's called me a couple of times, crying and saying that you're distant, that you don't care about her or Danny. But whenever I ask for details, she avoids answering. And when she mentioned she needed money, it felt wrong. Money? I asked. She nodded. She said she needed help leaving you. I didn't send her anything, but it sounds like Mom and Dad did. That confirmed my suspicion. I need your help, I said. She hesitated, but finally agreed. What do you want me to do? Just keep listening. If she calls you again, try to get her to talk. Don't let her know you're on my side. She agreed, but warned me to be careful. Her words stayed with me all the way home. When I got back, Linda was sitting on the couch as if nothing had happened. She didn't even ask how the trip went, which only made me more suspicious. Later that night, when she went to bed, I went through our bank records. Sure enough, there were large cash withdrawals that I didn't recognize. I couldn't confront her yet, I needed more proof. The next morning, while she was out, I remembered her old tablet in the kitchen drawer. It hadn't been touched in months, and when I turned it on, it was still logged into her accounts. That's when I found them, emails between Linda and someone named Mark. They weren't just flirty, they were explicit. They talked about travel, hotels, and even the money my parents had sent her. I stared at the screen, my stomach churning. She hadn't just lied about me, she had used my family's money to finance her affair. I took screenshots of everything. Whatever her plan was, I was going to stop it. And I wasn't going to let her get away with it. After finding the emails, I spent the rest of the morning piecing together what I could. The timestamps on Linda's messages to Mark painted a clear picture. She'd been lying to my family for months while she'd been carrying on with him. She wasn't just manipulating them emotionally, she was using their money to fund secret meetings. I copied everything, screenshots of the emails, receipts, and a photo she'd sent Mark from our living room. The evidence was incontrovertible. But now I had to decide what to do with it. When Linda came home later that afternoon, I played it cool. She asked if I wanted to order takeout for dinner, as if everything was perfectly normal. I nodded, keeping my tone casual. Sure, whatever you want. But inside, I was seething. The next morning, after Danny left for school, I decided it was time to confront her. I didn't want to explode or let her know that I knew everything, so I kept my questions vague. Linda, I began, why do you think my parents sent you money? She blinked, her expression unreadable. What do you mean? You said they sent you money to leave me. Why would they do that? Her face twisted in mock outrage. Because they care about me and Danny. They're worried about how you're treating us. I nodded, pretending to consider her answer. So you think they'll believe anything you tell them? Her eyes narrowed slightly. What are you trying to say? Nothing, I said. Just wondering how they ended up sending you thousands of dollars without even asking me. Then her mask slipped, just for a moment. They're old, okay? They're easy to talk to, and they want to help. Is that such a crime? My stomach turned at her words, but I kept my voice even. So you didn't feel bad taking money from them? She scoffed. It's not like you've been rolling in cash lately. Someone has to take care of me and Danny. It certainly isn't you. That was the last straw. I reached for my phone, calmly unlocked it, and hit record. So, just to be clear, I said, you took money from my parents because you think they're easy to manipulate, and you think I'm not providing enough for you? Her face darkened. Are you recording me? I didn't answer. Unbelievable, she snapped. You're so pathetic. You think this little game will scare me? Go ahead, tell your parents. They'll take my side, like they always do. I stopped recording and stood up. We'll see about that. Her anger only grew, but I didn't stay to argue. I grabbed my keys and left. I drove straight to my sister's house, determined to put the last piece of the puzzle together. When I showed her the emails, the receipts, and the recording, her eyes widened. She lied to all of us, I said. I need your help to get Mom and Dad to see this. She nodded slowly. They won't want to hear it, but if you show them this, they won't have a choice. The plan was set. The next day I would confront my parents together. This wasn't just about clearing my name, it was about taking back control of my life. On the morning of the confrontation, I texted my sister. She'd been my only ally in this mess, and I needed her help to get my parents to see the truth. I'm coming over today to talk to Mom and Dad. Can you support me? Her answer came almost immediately. I'll try, but they're still convinced that Linda is the victim. Be prepared for a fight. I thanked her and got into the car. The drive felt heavier than the last time, knowing I was going into a room where I wasn't welcome. But I wasn't going to let Linda's lies go unchallenged any longer. When I arrived, my mother opened the door and frowned at me. Now what? She asked, her voice sharp. We need to talk, I said, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. My father was sitting in his usual place, but his expression hardened when he saw me. My sister stood near the kitchen, arms crossed, avoiding everyone's gaze. What could you possibly have to say after everything you've done? My mother snapped. I took a deep breath and pulled out my phone. I'm here to show you the truth. My dad rolled his eyes. Oh, this should be good. Ignoring him, I opened the emails I'd saved and handed the phone to my mom. These are messages between Linda and a guy named Mark. They'd been seeing each other for months. My mom's eyes narrowed as she scrolled through the messages, her lips pressed into a thin line. My dad leaned over to watch, his expression skeptical at first, but slowly changing as the emails laid everything bare. Hotels? He muttered. She used the money we sent her on hotels? My mother's hand began to shake as she read on. This can't be real. She's a mother. Why would she do this? Because she lied to you, I said. She played the victim, manipulated you, and used your money to cheat me. My father frowned, his face darkening. How do we know this isn't fake? Linda said you're trying to make her look bad. My sister finally stepped forward. It's not fake, she said. I've been suspicious of her for a while. She used to call me crying about him, but her stories never made sense. And when she started asking for money, I knew something was up. This proves it. I nodded, grateful for her support. There's more, I said, pulling up the recording. I recorded her admitting to manipulating both of you. She even said she thinks you're easy to fool because you're old. My mother's head shot up, her face pale. What did you just say? You heard me, I replied. Then I hit play. Linda's voice filled the room, calm and calculating at first, then angry as she admitted to manipulating my parents and using the money they sent. She even mocked them, saying they'd believe anything she told them. When the recording ended, the room fell silent. My mother's hand shot to her mouth, her eyes filled with tears. She used us. She lied to us. My father leaned back in his chair, his jaw clenched. That woman will never set foot in this house again, he said quietly. She's been lying all along, I said, my voice steady. And she had you convinced that I was the bad guy. Now you know the truth. I left the house soon after, feeling both relief and anger. My parents had finally seen the light, but it didn't erase the months of betrayal and manipulation. When I got home, Linda was sitting in the living room, legs crossed, sipping wine. She looked up at me with a smug smile. Let me guess, she said. Your parents still hate you. Actually, I said, dropping my keys on the counter. They know everything. I showed them the emails. Played the recording. They're done with you. Her smile froze, and for the first time I saw a flicker of panic in her eyes. You're lying. Am I? I said, pulling out my phone. I have all the proof I need. You lied to them, you stole from them, and you betrayed me. You're done, Linda. Her face twisted with anger. You think you'll win? I'll take Danny, I'll take the house, and I'll take every last penny you have. Try me. I stared at her, calm on the outside even though my blood was boiling. Go ahead, I said. But this time you won't be the one controlling the narrative. I left her there, angry and stunned, and went to a hotel for the night. Tomorrow I'd meet with a lawyer to set things in motion. Linda thought she was untouchable, but she was about to learn the hard way that her lies had caught up with her. The next morning, I met with my lawyer and laid it all out on the table: the emails, the bank statements, and the recording of Linda's confession. He didn't sugarcoat the situation, but he assured me that we had a strong case. It will take time, he said, but with this evidence, you can secure custody of your son and protect your assets. I left the office feeling lighter than I had in weeks. It wasn't over yet, but I finally had the upper hand. When I got home, Linda wasn't there. At first I thought she might be out with Danny, but then I noticed her closet. It was half empty. Her toiletries were gone, and her laptop was missing from the kitchen counter. She'd left. Danny was at school, so I called his teacher to see if anyone had picked him up early. No, she said. He's still here. That was a relief. Linda may have left me, but she wasn't going to take Danny. Later that night I got the call I'd been expecting. Hey, it's Linda, she said, her voice casual, as if nothing had happened. I just wanted to let you know that I'm moving in with Mark. He's got a place in town, big house, pool, the works. I'm done with this mess. I clenched my jaw. What about Danny? She sighed, as if I'd just asked her to solve a math problem. Look, you're a great dad. You have that whole stable, responsible thing going for you. Danny's going to be better off with you. Besides, Mark and I have plans, and a kid doesn't exactly fit into them. Her words made me sick, but I wasn't surprised. So you're just going to leave him? Like he doesn't matter? Don't be so dramatic, she snapped. It's not like I'm disappearing. I'll call him on his birthday or something. But he's better off with you. You wanted to be the hero, right? Here's your chance. I hung up without saying another word. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of legal paperwork and adjustments. Linda signed over custody of Danny without a fight, eager to start her new life with Mark. My lawyer made sure she couldn't go after the house or my finances, and with the evidence I had, she didn't dare challenge it. Danny didn't fully understand what was happening, but I did my best to keep things stable for him. I told him that his mother needed time to figure some things out, and for now it would be just the two of us. One night while we were watching a movie, he asked, "Is Mom coming back?" I hesitated, then said, "She loves you, buddy. But right now it's just gonna be you and me. Okay?" He nodded and leaned against me. "That's okay. I like it when it's just us." As for Linda, she was fully embracing her new life with Mark. I'd heard bits and pieces from mutual acquaintances, lavish trips, expensive dinners, but little mention of Danny. She'd made her choice, and though it hurt, I knew we were better off without her chaos. In time, things settled into a new normal. My relationship with my parents and sister began to heal, and they became a bigger part of Danny's life. My work-from-home job allowed me to be there for him, and we began to build a life that was just ours. The day our divorce was finalized, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. Linda's lies had been exposed, and she'd walked away with nothing but her shallow dreams. Meanwhile, I still had the one thing that mattered most, my son. And as I tucked him into bed that night, I realized I didn't feel bitter or angry anymore. Just relief. The storm had passed, and we were free at last.